misdemeanor site.
10-4-12. Welcome to Law and Order BUX. I'm your host, Bucks County Sheriff Fred Harran. Every corner of Bucks County has a story to tell. Sometimes a story of resilience. Sometimes a story that chills us to the bone. Sometimes a story of government not being able to get out of its own way. Here, the forces of law and order are constantly at work, often behind the scenes. Join us as we delve into the gripping realities of crime and justice in our community. We'll explore the hidden worlds, the difficult decisions, and the unwavering commitment it takes to maintain law and order right here in Bucks County. Welcome to episode 5. I can't believe it, episode 5. And today we're going to do something a little bit different. We've been talking about a lot of things. Last week we were brought in Dave Nieves and myself. We were talking about undercover operations in a high school many moons ago. And then we've been talking about DNA. I want to, in the next couple of episodes to come, I want to kind of jump into the sheriff's office and law enforcement right here in Bucks County, how things are done, why they're done, some of the obstacles that we face. You're going to hear about, you're going to hear a couple today, some external, some internal. And I think we have a very interesting topic because a lot of us know how to eat the sausage. I'm guilty of that, but not a lot of us know how the sausage is made. And today we're jumping into the kitchen. We're going to tell you how the sausage is made in a particular area of the sheriff's office. And with us, we have Deputy Grove. Deputy Grove is our transportation and extradition coordinator. And some people think transportation coordinator in the sheriff's office. What the heck is that? One of the big parts of our job, one of the very big parts of the job is bring prisoners back to justice here in Bucks County. When you commit a crime in Bucks County, and we're going to get into the details of this in another episode, but when you commit a crime here in Bucks County, and at some point you're supposed to come before a judge, and sometimes you do get before the judge, and then you're released on bail, and then you kind of take off. You have a moment's thought like, I'm not doing that again. I'm not taking a chance on go to jail. So you take off, running, and not literally running. Maybe some people do, but just gone. You leave Bucks County, you leave Pennsylvania. Some cases you leave the East Coast of the United States. Some cases you leave the United States. And then you might be out driving a car. You could be with a family. You could be just on your own. You could be at work in Nevada or Arizona or in North Dakota, as we're going to talk about in a few minutes. And you go through a red light and a police officer in North Dakota stops you and they take your driver's license and go back to their car and they run you for your valid license or not valid. And what do you know? That day you should have came to court and you skipped. It's coming back to you today. You pop for a warrant and they take you into custody. And that's where Deputy Grove comes into play. So before I turn it over to what happens, Deputy, tell us a little bit about, how long you've been in the sheriff's office and, your responsibility now, and then we're going to get into details on that.
Absolutely. So I have been with the sheriff's office since 2015. So this year will mark my 10 years with the sheriff's office. And in that time, I have pretty much done almost every single thing around here. But my main focus has been transports. That was from 2017 till now. I was out on the road prior to 2018, and then 2018 I've been in here doing the transportation and extradition coordination. And my main focus is to, like the sheriff said, bring people back that have warrants. So if you're driving around Bucks County and you do run that red light and you get stopped by Ben Salem and they find out you have a warrant, they're calling us and I'm scheduling that transport. If you're in New Jersey and you get pulled over, they're going to check. They're going to verify that the warrant is valid. They're going to verify that extradition status is surrounding states or full extradition, which means anywhere in the continental U.S. And then we would you would go before have a waiver hearing, and you would come back to Bucks County, and I would schedule that transport as well to get you back here with our transportation units, which we have 3 of.
So now, what if you're not in Jersey? What if you're in California and you get stopped on your way to Disneyland, and you're in such a rush to see Mickey, and you go through that red light, but yet you stole some stuff, or you committed a burglary or a DUI, or even got caught with some drugs 3-4 years ago, and you kind of let that pass? What happens then when that cop stops you in California? Well, wait, maybe we shouldn't talk about California today. That's probably not a good one to talk. Let's go to Arizona. Let's say you get stopped in Arizona. Then what happens?
Sure. So same thing. If you get stopped in Arizona, you're going to get pulled over. They're going to run your name. They're going to see you have a warrant. They're going to verify that warrant with our office. And if it is a full extradition warrant, or say it's a limited extradition but includes Arizona, then they're going to arrest you. You're going to get taken to the jail. Then you'll go forward, have an extradition hearing in front of a judge, and they're going to say, hey, Bucks County wants you. Are you ready to go back to Bucks County? And you're either going to say yes, and you're going to sign your name on that paper. That's then going to be sent over to me. It's called a waiver of extradition. Once we look that over, we verify everything. We're going to then schedule your transport to come back to Bucks County. If you don't waive, it's not a good time.
What happens when they say, I'm not a big fan of Bucks County. I don't feel like going back. Then what happens?
So if you decide that you don't want to waive extradition, then you're going to be held, most likely, or the judge can give you bail, but most likely you're going to be held. And then they're going to let us know that you refuse to waive extradition. And we're going to proceed with what's called a governor's warrant, which is basically us compiling a bunch of documents, and we're going to then submit those to the governor's office, proving to them that you are the defendant that we want in our criminal case. If everything gets approved, our governor sends a letter to their governor. That governor authorizes it, and then you don't get to go anywhere because we're coming to get you.
And Deputy Grove, most of the time when we do these governor's warrant, and I don't know of a case since I've been here for 3.5 years where the governor has not approved of an extradition.
That's correct. Most times, 99.9% of the time, it's going to be approved. The only time you'd have an issue is if at the original arrest, something didn't work out right, and potentially that defendant is not the defendant that committed the crime.
But 99.999, I haven't heard of any stories. Now, when I got here in January of 22, Deputy, we were talking about this before, and I use this story all the time because I was like, I don't know what to do. I think it was either Corporal Kessler or yourself call me and he said, we have a problem. We're in we have deputies in North Carolina bringing prisoner back. And I think it was a female prisoner, if I'm not mistaken, on felony charges, bringing back. So the deputies flew out to North Dakota. And this story, just people that are going to listen to this, is going to boggle their mind, because to this day, when I repeat this story, I'm still like, this isn't possible. And it is possible because it happens. So the deputies, they go out to the prison. Now, our deputies normally will fly out the night before, get the rental car. They go to a hotel, they grab dinner, and then the next morning they'll go to the prison and then pick up the prisoner and return the car, go right to the airport and board a plane and come back. And then that person comes to Bucks County Correctional Facility. But in this particular case, if I remember, Deputy, they picked her up and got to the airport. And then this is where it boggled my mind. Just as if you were going to Disney World with your family, they bumped the airline. They don't know who we are. They bumped one of the deputies off the flight, meaning they oversold the flight. Yep. And they called, and I said, I remember you guys calling, and you said, well, now what do we do? I said, what do you mean, now what do you do? I mean, we're the sheriffs. How do they bump us off a flight with a prisoner? And then I remember the deputy was talking to the flight agent. They're like, well, one of you can go and the other one can fly back, on a tomorrow flight. We're like, we're not transporting milk and cookies, dude, man. We're bringing a prisoner, a human being back. We're a package deal, all three of us. And there was no way to get that prisoner on the flight. And I remember we made some decisions and we had to release the prisoner because the jail back in North Dakota wouldn't take her because they've already discharged her. So they're not, and we can't, it's a female prisoner with a female and a male deputy. We can't stay overnight with a prisoner. Obviously, that there's so many problems with that. The security of that alone is just absurd. So they flew back and without the prisoner. And I remember it was about 10 days later. I don't know if you remember this, Deputy. They called back. They had her in custody again.
Yep.
And we flew back out. And I remember the bill for that particular case was in the thousands because it was 2 flights out. And folks that are listening, it's not like, you're at home with your family preparing a vacation 9 months out. We get no discount on tickets for airlines. So you know what it costs when you're booking an airline 3 days out. The airlines get you. They're last minute flights, and that's the timeline. I mean, we can sometimes put it out 10 days. That's about it. Right, Deputy? I mean, we can't book stuff a month out.
No. I mean, typically we don't even have the paperwork a month out. It usually comes in and they're like, hey, you got 10 days to come get this person.
Yeah, because that county, that state is now housing and medically paying for the care of a prisoner that's not their problem. So I get it financially. Why no? Because we don't want to do that here in Bucks County. Why should Bucks County residents pay for a California prisoner? I get it. It makes perfect sense to me. Unfortunately, the system is so FUBAR that there's no other way around it. But Deputy, we're going out multiple times a week on flight trips now, correct?
Absolutely. Yep. Every week we're on flight trips.
And I know we've got today's Tuesday. We got people in the air right now, or back coming from Jacksonville, correct?
Yeah, Jacksonville, Florida. There's two deputies coming back with an inmate.
With an inmate now in Jacksonville, from Jacksonville, Florida. Now, some people could be listening to this saying, "What a waste of money." Well, maybe, but it's the law. We have to go get them. What is it? It's the Interstate Compact Act, right? Commerce Act.
Yeah, so the Interstate Compact is more for probation, but
right.
Of course, even criminal warrants, they have extradition standards that you need to pick up the defendant. You can't just leave them there.
Can't leave them. Yeah, and it's insane, but I get it too. These people, victims in Bucks County, are due their day in court, to face the person that perpetrated the crime towards them. So it's the system we got. It's the best system that we've got at this point in time. There's a lot of money and a lot of time. We got a lot of deputies. All our deputies have to, and the FAA just upped their requirements for carrying guns. All deputies had to go back through qualifications because they carry guns. These deputies are flying armed. I sign off on a form for deputies that are authorized to fly with guns. And tell the listeners might be interested on that process. So when these deputies get to the airport, do you know what happens?
Yeah, so, it actually starts before they even get to the airport. What you have to do is you actually have to send the information to the radio room, and they send something that's called an NLETS, which is for the airport, that says who the deputy is, what their badge is, where they're flying to, when they're coming back, gives them all the information so they know that, hey, there's someone on their plane that has a firearm. God forbid something happens, they know who they either need to go to or who is going to be the person that has the firearm.
And the men and women of the sheriff's office, the deputies, they normally board first and get off the plane last. The prisoners are wearing hoodies with holes in them, so the handcuffs are through. So it's not like you see a prisoner with handcuffs, not like television where the cops and the deputies are walking the prisoner down the aisle with handcuffs and leg shackles. We're not doing that. You can't tell that there's a prisoner. We have men and women deputies, so you don't know, just because it's a guy and a gal traveling together. Normally, the prisoner will be in between them, and they'll sit towards the back of the plane. And then they'll board last and deplane last and get on first. So it's kind of really interesting, the process, and I was pretty amazed when I got here. But I also, I know Deputy Grove, you could talk to this a little bit. When I got here, I found out that there was a full-time Bucks County deputy making the travel arrangements, that he and her job was to book the flights and book the hotels and book the rental cars. And when I found that out, I'm like, well, that seems like a waste of money and time to have a sworn person. Why can't we have a travel agent do it? It doesn't cost us anything. I think the travel agents, if I'm not mistaken, they get a percentage from the airline and the hotels. It doesn't cost us anything. And not like we were getting money back from the airlines. When you book your flights direct, they keep the money. When a travel agent books it, I believe they give the travel agent that portion, whatever it is, for the travel agent fees. So I immediately civilianized that position and got a travel agent to do all that work. And I know she's pretty busy doing that, but I think it's been working out much better. We got it now. We get an extra cop or an extra deputy back on the street, theoretically.
Correct. Yeah. And it definitely is working out for the guys because they're doing flight trips and they're doing them multiple times a week.
And yeah, they want to make sure that the hotels, the paperwork's all set, and who better to do it than travel agents that already have these relationships? And, we could be, at a different hotel, different chains, because we use the cheapest we can, but they're clean. And, we got to make sure that, deputies could get in, that there's no chance that their hotel rooms aren't there, because they've got to pick up a human being in the morning, and deputies have to be well rested. You've got to be alert. It's not like we're reading books and sleeping on the plane, and we're not having a couple of vodkas on the ride back. You got to be on your toes. And the transports, I mean, every day we got crews out all over Pennsylvania. What time do they start, Deputy? What time does that start in the morning?
So we have 3 transport units. 2 of them start at 5:30 a.m. and 1 of them starts at 6 a.m. But they all pretty much do the same thing. They'll either go and do what we call local transports, which is the surrounding counties to us, Montgomery County, Philadelphia County, and everything that touches Bucks County pretty much. And they'll do a writ transport, which is the easiest way I can explain it is it's a get out of jail free card for an inmate. So they get to come out of jail to the courthouse for the day and then go back to, their home facility. And then after those transports are done, because those people have to actually make it here to go to court, and court starts at 9 a.m. So don't be late for the judges. And then they go and they do the other transports that we're talking about, like your bench warrant pickups and your extradition transports. So they might be in Montgomery County in the morning and Salem County, New Jersey in the afternoon. And that's Monday through Friday.
And our judges don't mess around here. I mean, they start, and these judges don't start at 11, folks, in Bucks County. Our judges are on the bench early here. They want to get these cases through. And, on a serious note, there's a good reason. I know I've talked, when I first got here, was Judge Bateman was the PJ, the president judge. And because of the drug problem that we're having, when we're picking prisoners up from municipalities, a lot of them are sick from the drugs. And then they start to have medical problems here. And then we got to get them, to a hospital to get medical treatment. So we want to get them in and out of court so we can get them to the prison. They can get the proper care that they need. And hopefully they take up the services in the prison for detox. And we have a great, Dave Kratz does an amazing job. And I will say, and, I do feud with some of the leadership here in the county, but I got to give credit where credit's due. They make sure that, their services are in the jail for people to fight that horrible disease of drug addiction. And, here in Bucks County, I will say, and this is going to sound kind of weird, but if you're going to get locked up, it should be Bucks County, because at least, you're going to get help. And there's people in Bucks County that are willing to help you. So it's not a throwaway to Key County. And I don't mean that depending on where you think of the judicial system, people need help, and we have to help them. Drugs are an incredible disease, and we got to do something. And I'm hoping the drug problem, I don't want to go down this road, but with the security of the border and the drugs coming in will be decreased. We should, if the theories are right, we should see in the next 6 months some help on the way regarding the amount of drugs in this country. So let's hope that works. But we want to get people help. We don't want people back in jail. That's certainly, it costs a lot of money. It costs a lot of money to incarcerate people. I think it's $160 or $140 a day to incarcerate someone. And that's without any medical problems. And a lot of folks are coming in, as we started this part of the conversation, with medical problems. So with that said, with medical problems, Deputy, what's some of the things you came to me? What I don't even know how long ago. It probably was when I first got here, but it didn't go anywhere. But I think like 6 months ago, 7 months ago, you came to me with what?
Proposal that we don't pick people up at.
Well, not that one,
Okay.
but the need for a handicap van.
Yes. So some of the medical issues are simply because people no longer have their limbs, and those people require a handicap accessible vehicle, which the sheriff's office does not have currently. But Sheriff Harran was able to secure one for us, and that is in the process now. So if you get arrested in Bucks County and you're in a wheelchair, you're going to have an accessible van to get transported to the jail in, because currently we have to try to pick you up, and
it's
that's not
crazy.
fun for anyone.
When you guys told me this story, I was like, I couldn't believe it. You know, we transport people, as the deputy said, xylazine is one of our biggest problems right now. Heroin and opioids are problematic, but xylazine really affects your body and breaks down. What it does is stop the flow of oxygen to vital organs and also your skin. You know, when you cut yourself and now you're getting infections and then amputations from the use of xylazine, what they call tranq on the street, which is animal tranquilizer. I think it's like 1,000 times more potent. I'm not a vet. 100 or 1,000 times more potent than ketamine, which Special K, which is an animal tranquilizer too. And now xylazine is our big problem. And after xylazine, there'll be something else. But you know, the amount of people that we have that have some sort of disability, and you know, we have deputies picking them up, carrying them out of the back of transport vans to put them in the cars and put them in the wheelchairs. That's not the way people should be treated. They need to be treated with dignity and safely. We've had prisoners. I've heard the stories of prisoners that we've extradited on planes, wheeling them down the ramp in a wheelchair, getting them on the plane, and then getting a wheelchair to pick them up, you know, and taking them off the plane to get them in a car. This is just ridiculous. So I proposed getting a handicap accessible transport van, because we don't have one, and I just got beaten up over it by county government, so to speak. And Dave Kratz, our director of correction, he was fighting the fight with me. He needs it too. We'll share it between our two departments. We'll share it with anybody that needs it. It will be a county asset. And finally, after months of going back and forth, the county, I guess, believed me that we needed this after checking with 100 sources. Like, Fred Harran wants a handicapped accessible transport van, but he must be up to something else. I mean, what's he going to do with that? Serve ice cream and hot dogs out of it? You know, what's he doing with that transport? No, we're using it to transport human beings that have disabilities. That's what we're doing with it. But we got it approved, and I'm told from the dealership we should have it in hands by August. So it took a lot of work and effort to get it, but it's something that you know, the folks in custody that have disabilities deserve. They're human beings and need to be treated with dignity and not carried around, you know, undignified. It was just wrong. So the Bucks County Sheriff's Office doing the right thing, and it's an asset that will be shared by anybody in the county. If a department needs it, we'll send it down there. I mean, we don't need 20 transport vans, handicap accessible in Bucks County. One's enough. It's going to have two handicap accessible, you know, to bring 2 wheelchairs down, and some people on other type of handicap, like with walkers and things like that, will be able to transport. I came in here with the mission of keeping cops on the street. You know, Pennsylvania is a Commonwealth, so we have local police all over. The sheriffs, you call 911, we're not the ones that come. We'll assist local police wherever we can, because we're all over the county, and we do other stuff. And we're continuing to expand, because I want to do more things here in the sheriff's office, and the guys and gals here have been fantastic, embracing everything. And we got some cool things ready to drop in July, but I'm not going to announce that today either. But I want to keep cops on the street to protect our citizens and to handle 911 calls. And when the municipal police arrest someone, there's a warrant for their arrest. You know, other folks have had, you know, where we didn't do the transport in some cases. They had to kind of go serve their own warrants sometimes. And I've really expanded that role in the sheriff's office. And I know not everybody's, I think they understand it now. And the guys are getting a better feel for it. They didn't really understand what I was doing. But the whole idea is for us to do that as being you know, being out there as a partner with our municipal police partners, to keep them on the street handling 911 calls. And I think I know, Deputy Grove, you're doing a great job making sure coordinate. I know, I hear you juggling around. I mean, I know some of your thoughts on it. Maybe we shouldn't be doing all the transports we're doing. But I believe we should, and I believe we got to keep it. I think you believe it too, but it is hard. It's hard to do it. And our men and women are working hard. Some thoughts.
Yeah. So, I mean, I have no problem doing it. I think the biggest issue is having the manpower to do it effectively. And we have 3 transport vans and they're running everywhere. I just had a unit in Massachusetts yesterday. So Massachusetts does not qualify as an overnight transport for us because it's under the cutoff of the mileage. And they drove to Massachusetts and brought someone back for a police department. So that way that police department didn't have to go and do it because it was an arrest warrant. But it's just having enough people to do those transports. I mean, we have our warrants in our office, which consists of criminal. We also transfer for adult probation parole, which they also have other things called detainers. But that's besides the fact. And then you have domestic relations, which also issues warrants that we transport for. So we have those 3 sets plus our other units that handle, things like civil and stuff. But then you have your arrest warrants would come out of the MDJ, which from the police departments. And then if those arrest warrants are seen and the person is arraigned, then they might be committed on bail, which is another detainer that holds them in custody. Yeah. They cannot post bail, and we transport on that. So I think it was like 5 or 6 things that this department transport on. So it's just having the manpower to be able to do it. But it does help, like Sheriff Harran said, it does help keep the officers on the street. They're not running over to Massachusetts and New Jersey. We get them back to Bucks County for them.
And Deputy, you really explained it much better than I could have ever. And people's head is probably spinning right now. What kind of warrant? What did you say? There's all kinds of different warrants out there. And you know what? I try to keep these podcasts to about a half hour. I don't want to lose people's interest, but we might have to do a part 2 here with warrants. But and we have 2 warrant teams out there. We have 2 different 4-person teams, and we've got 2 supervisors that are on the road as well. Friday, they were serving a warrant in it started in Warminster, then we're in Bensalem, and they got into a foot pursuit with this person, wanted for 4 felonies out of Bucks County. And so, I mean, this is the nature of the job. Our job is to, hold people accountable, bringing the prisoners back here so that they can be seen before a judge, giving victims their day in court. I know what you do is so important. I see you all. Deputy Grove is, and they're all. I'm not singling him out, please, but I'm telling you, when I come back and forth in this building, he's always doing one thing, and that's working. He's constantly at his desk, typing away, making phone calls. I hear him on with other prisons, with other states, with other counties, making sure that the people get here. We have a lot of rules that we have to follow, and timeliness to get people here on trial on time, because they have certain timelines that we have, not we. And that's a good thing. The government should be held accountable. You can't have somebody out there indefinitely waiting trial. And you're doing it, man. You're doing it. Corporal Kessler and the whole crew, people that are filling in for you when you're out doing your stuff. And it's just amazing work. I think people all know, listen, I tell people, if you have a warrant for your arrest, or you think you have a warrant for your arrest, come in here Monday to Thursday. I mean, we'll take you on a Friday or Saturday, but chances are you might go to jail on a Saturday. But, come in here on a Monday or Tuesday morning. I'm the sheriff. I'm not the judge, but I got a good feeling that we will be able to get it worked out. And as long as it's not a major violent crime, and you haven't been running from the courts for months or years, we'll work it out, and we'll try to get you out of here that same day if possible. And again, I can't make you that promise. I'm not the judge. I'm only one part of the system. The judges, but we got great judges here on the bench. We got some fantastic judges that are very, very fair and get the big picture. We got a lot of new programs that we're starting. I'm gonna talk about one of our programs at a later date. We're doing assessments right here in the sheriff's office. We have a drug assessor. People that want help the day they're here, or as we call off the street, with off the street warrants and hearings, people that are not in custody and they want to get help. We will work with the Bucks County Drug and Alcohol Council. We have somebody right here on our floor that will assess you within an hour and get you into treatment if you need it. Drugs are a horrible thing. And I know, Deputy, from my times in Ben Salem, and I'm sure you know this too, you were seeing everybody comes across your desk. 80% of the folks we're dealing with have some sort of drug problem, addiction. And I mean, what do you think? Am I close with that number? Am I on the money?
Absolutely. Most of the people we deal with are either on drugs or have a drug habit. That is why they're in the system to begin with.
Right. And we can avoid it. And you know what? Don't worry about me and Deputy Grove. We're going to have a job. Okay. Don't worry about us. We want to get your warrants cleared up. We want to get you help. We want to get you off of whatever the element is that is affecting you that we can help. Your partner right next to you, Corporal Kessler, he's got the scope unit. I think this was very interesting for our listeners. At least it was interesting for me. You know, the fact that we get bumped from planes, that how we're flying. And I think it's pretty cool that this all happens. And I can tell you, Deputy Grove, you are a big part of that. But you're making my friend Bucks County safe, as all deputies are here. But the job that you do, moving and juggling and transporting people from, it's like that people walker ride in Disney World. You know, you're getting people from A to B to C to D and back to E and back to F and all over the place. And, you know, thank you for the work you do. And you're a true asset here. Deputy, any closing thoughts?
My final thoughts are, if you get arrested out of state and you're presented with a waiver of extradition and you know you're the defendant, sign it. Because if not, it's going to be a long time in jail.
That's great advice, my friend. Well, I hope you enjoyed episode 5. We got so much more stuff coming up. I mean, we could probably do an episode a day, but I'm not doing that. But I'm very excited for what's to come. Until then, everybody, be safe out there. Thank you for joining us as we explore another aspect of law enforcement in Bucks County. To stay up to date on future episodes and gain further insight into the work we do, be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a review wherever you get your podcasts. For more information about the Bucks County Sheriff's Office and the services we provide, please visit our website and be sure to download the official Bucks County Sheriff's Office app, available on Google Play and in the App Store. Join us next time for another in-depth look at law and order right here in Bucks County.